Hello, everyone.
Hi, we're back in a new location.
Yes. Our Facebook Live just crapped out on us, but it's fine because it was 6 minutes in. I think that was enough for Facebook Live. And I'm so happy that you guys all joined us here on YouTube.
We are here on a weekly basis talking about things that are going to change your life.
Totally. They changed our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about basically what we go through every week.
Basically, this is like our visual journal that you get to witness.
Yeah.
But there's lots of good tips, so keep watching. I'm Dr. Saira, and I'm I was going to say relationship therapist. Ooh!
She's not a relationship. Well, she can be.
Kind of. I'm a psychotherapist, and my background's in transpersonal psychology, which is why I love today's topic. And this.
And I'm Jena, and I'm a law of attraction coach and teacher. I'm adding that in too.
All right. So today we're going to teach you something that's going to blow your mind.
Yes, it will blow your freaking mind. Today we're talking about not giving a how.
Today's your day to not give a how.
Don't give a how. What does that mean? It means, okay, so a little background on the law of attraction. The law of attraction states that you create your own reality. And when you decide what you want, it's there. It's waiting for you. Mm-hmm. But your job is not to worry about how you're going to get there. It's just to know with utter faith and certainty that it is there. And it's waiting for you and it's coming to you right now as you speak.
So basically, we were talking about in our Facebook Live, kids have mastered the law of attraction.
They are master manifestors.
They get what they want. They ask, and they don't worry about how that thing is going to get to them. They just ask and they get it. Like they say, "Mommy, I'm hungry. Can I have a sandwich?" And then they get a sandwich.
And you may think, well, yeah, duh, because I
made
the sandwich.
I'm the mom and I have to make a sandwich. So what the idea is that we can all have that, and the mom is like the powers that be, the universe, bringing stuff together for you.
Totally. And there's no work that you need to do on your part except for to feel good all the time, to feel aligned, to be with flow. So that means if you're thinking anything that feels bad in any way, you got to think that bad feeling is telling you that you're not thinking the right thoughts. Right. So that all that means is that then you switch your thoughts to something more positive, like I can have anything I want. Things are coming to me. Things are easy. This feels good. This feels right. You put yourself in that state. It takes about a minute.
So fast. And the way, the great example that the law of attraction folks talk about is like a GPS, right? And so if you think about a GPS, you program in your destination and then you press OK, and then it says turn right at da-da-da, and it just takes, it starts where you are, and then it takes you forward to the next place and the next place and the next place, and you just follow the directions. And if you get it wrong, it recalibrates, but the destination is the same, right?
It never says, oh, I'm sorry, you turned left, so now you can't go to where you wanted to go.
That's it. You suck. You made a huge mistake, and I'm turning off right now.
Can you imagine?
Right? Another great example, I was just reading in one of the books by Abraham, where he talks about filling up your gas at a gas station, right? So when your gas tank is empty, right, and you get to the gas station, do you like look at the thing, you're at the gas station, you're standing at the gas station, do you look at the empty and go, how did this happen? Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Why did I wait till I got to E? And then do you like put your head down on the hood of the car and be like, why? No, you just fill up your tank and you keep going. Right? So when things go wrong and like you're feeling uncomfortable and you're feeling unhappy, that's like you're now at the gas station. You're like, it's time to fill up your tank and move on. But many of us just like throw ourselves down on the floor of the gas station.
Completely give up.
And say, I can never do this again. I'm on empty. It's like, yeah, you just need a refill. Like, it's going to be all right.
So spending less and less time in that state of despair is your only work. So just get yourself out of that state, right? That's it. That's all you have to do.
Because you can spend, years. There's people who spend your lifetime there. Your lifetime feeling bad about, and there's hundreds of words for bad feelings.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God. And there's how many words for feeling good? Like 3? Not that many.
Like frustration, irritation, anxiety, depression,
and then happiness and joy. That's basically it. Yeah. Because we spend a lot of time there. As humans, we think that that's where we should be. We think that if we spend enough time there, somehow we'll magically like work our way out of it. But the only way to work your way out of it is to just jump out of that space by telling yourself nice things. And it all comes down to what you're saying to yourself, right? Because you could turn any story into either a negative or a positive, right?
Tell us your story.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you my law of attraction example. So this is my story. About 2 years ago, I was walking through Walmart And I was just in a state of despair about my life. I was like, why is this happening to me? I have to pay for my mortgage. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from. I just started this new business. I had no idea where I was going next. And I was stressed. Like, I was waking up every morning at 4 o'clock and just stressing until my alarm went off. It was a bad time. And I was walking through Walmart looking at all of the Christmas decorations. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice to just like feel like a kid again and to not have to worry about bills and to not have to worry about my mortgage and to not have to worry about where my next meal is coming from and just to feel like a kid and be taken care of? Like, wouldn't that be so nice? And I've been working since I was like 18. I had never really had anyone take care of me since then. And a couple weeks later, I went home for Christmas and I ended up staying for 2 years at my parents' house. I'm just feeling like a kid, just like being pampered and, you know, having people who love me and care about me, you know, give me their car and like do things for me and just having that space to feel taken care of and loved and appreciated. And because of that, I was able to move towards more success and towards, you know, actually letting good things happen to me. But really it started right then in the Walmart by telling myself, I want something different.
Right.
And then letting it happen.
And letting it happen in the way that it had to happen, right? Because somebody else might have that experience happen to them and feel like, oh, now I'm a failure. I can't even live on my own. I'm living with my... But what they're not seeing is that they actually got exactly what they asked for. The way they got it may be, you know, the way that's going to work best in that moment. Yeah. And it may not be how you... Like, I'm sure you didn't envision that I want to be a kid again, so I'm going to move in with my parents. No. That's not what you were thinking in the moment, right? But you allowed it to unfold naturally, and that was like the path of least resistance. It's like they talk about that there's this river of our life, right? And it's running downstream. And so many of us are fighting the current. Yeah. And so that's why we get sick, and that's why we're tired, and that's why we're grumpy.
Because we think we need to do everything. We need to like act enough to make things happen.
Right.
But the truth is when you step back and when you start to feel good, that's when good things happen.
Right.
And that's when you're going downstream, right? You're just going with the flow.
With the flow.
So if I'm thinking about that example, what really happened is that when I went home, for the first time in a long time, I felt relaxed. And I was able to, like, I was with someone, like my partner at the time, and I let him do his own thing and I did my own thing, and I really just like recentered myself and let myself feel really loved. And because I felt so loved, I was able to listen to my intuition. So when my intuition said, break up with him and stay here, I did it, right? There was many times in the past that my intuition had told me the exact same thing, but I didn't listen to it back then.
Because you were like,
because I was too much in the moment. I was like, I can make this work. I can make things better, you know? You can't make things better. You can only relax, let yourself be happy, because that's our natural state. Believe it or not, your natural state is happiness. And see what happens and follow your intuition.
Right. For me, I find that my best ideas come when I'm on holidays. Right? Yes. And it's because what's happening is I'm moving out of my like regular routine into a place that's relaxing. And if you think about, you know, a holiday, a relaxing holiday, what do I do on my relaxing holiday? I just relax. And then I get a massage, which makes me even more relaxed. Then I eat wonderful food that someone else cooked, which makes me even more relaxed. Yeah. And then I like watch some movies, which is even more relaxing. And it's like more and more and more relaxing. And so it's more and more letting go, letting go, letting go. And then there's room for inspiration, right? There's room. And the point is, I realize I don't have to actually get on a plane and fly somewhere to feel that way. And so the last couple of weeks I've been actually having that experience in my own life. Right? Where I'm just like kind of in holiday mode. Like things are getting done. I kind of making my 7-year-old into a bit of a maid. Just fine. He needs to learn those life skills.
Things are getting done.
Things are getting done.
You don't have to feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
You can be on vacation in your life and not feel guilty about it because you know that the vacation is the point. Right? The vacation is the point.
The point is not to like work so hard day and night and so just so you can live on the weekends.
No.
Or like work so hard all year so you can have a week away from your life.
But that's what
like
we've been
so
taught.
Dysfunctional.
Yeah, that's what we've been taught though. Because people watching, I'm sure people watching are thinking, you women are crazy. What are you even talking about? The vacation is not the point. You go for vacation for a purpose to get away from work, which you have to do for the rest of the year. Like that's the point. But no,
it's not. Your life could be as enjoyable as a holiday. It is about the frame of mind. It's not. We're not saying that, okay, tomorrow you're going to wake up and magically you're going to have a whole new life. You're going to have the same life, but you're going to have a different perspective on your life, right? So I've noticed when my kids come in the bed in the morning, it's like, I used to like drive me bananas, right? And I'm like, oh, I can't get my last 10 minutes of sleep. Now I'm like, oh, they're little, they're cuddly, they're cuddling in for 10 minutes, and I just really cherish it because I know when they're teenagers, They're not going to be coming to cuddle in. And so I've like reframed the experience. It's the same experience. It could either be really freaking annoying or it could be really sweet. But it's how my perspective and my feelings about it that makes the difference.
Yes. Yeah. In the moment, your feelings about it make a huge difference in what you've prepped yourself to tell yourself in that moment, right? Like you probably went through a process where you said, I don't want to feel irritated. I want to feel good. So what can I do? And then you started putting that into practice. And if you think about vacation again, like we were talking about vacation and how some people think that vacation is just supposed to be 1 week a year or 3 weeks a year, whatever. But then think about those people that you know that are super rich and they feel like their life is a vacation all the time. You know what's different about them and you is just their expectation, right? Because they have grown to a place, they've like aligned themselves to a place where they expect to be taken care of. They expect luxury. They will not settle for less than luxurious. They've put themselves in that state of mind. And that state of mind can start right now. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million in the bank or 5. It can start right now.
And it's how you expect to be treated. So let me tell you a story. I haven't told you the story. New one. Okay, so I was away last week in Toronto. And it was kind of an intense time because my grandfather was dying. And so we had to visit him. So we arrived. So my sister and I came from different places, arrived at the airport, and then went together to see my grandpa in the place that he was passing away. It was Tuesday night. So instead of going like downtown and checking in and then going somewhere else, we just went straight there because we didn't know how much time we had. It could be hours, it could be days, we didn't know. So we went, we saw him, we spent a few hours there with my dad and my grandpa just like saying goodbye. And then we went to the hotel. My dad drove us to the hotel. And it was downtown and it was for this conference. We were really excited. It was a very fancy hotel. So we get there and they're like, oh, we don't have any more rooms. And so we're like, okay. And usually if somebody had said that, my heart would have dropped. I would have felt really bad. And I was like, okay. And they're like, so what we're going to do is we're going to put you up in another hotel at no cost. And that night will be free. And so I said, well, the company's paying for this. That's not a benefit to me. So like, what can you do for me? And I started putting on the hat of somebody who expects to be taken care of, right? Like somebody who expects, I know, I'm so proud of myself. So I'm like, so what else can you do for me? Because the company's paying for this. And they're like, oh, well, we'll give you 40,000 points on your own card so that you can have a free night some other time.
Go.
And I was like, well, I expect chocolates on the pillow when I get here tomorrow. I totally said that. I'm like, that's fine, but I expect chocolates on the pillow. So we get there the next day. Incredible. So there's a sorry note, like from the manager, like handwritten note. There was chocolate covered strawberries, a plate of cheeses, and a bottle of wine.
Shut the front door. That's awesome.
All just laid out in our room when we got there.
Because you expected to be treated a certain way.
Right. I'm like, I expect chocolate on the pillows.
And some of our viewers might be thinking, well, what gives you the right to expect? No, everything gives you the right. You have that right because you are a person. And that is our purpose.
And all I had to do was ask. All I had to do was say, you know what, this was an inconvenience, and I need you to show me a little gesture of your apology. That's what I meant by chocolates on the pillows, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's fine, you gave us a room, like, practically that solves the problem, but I still feel a bit, like, ignored by you giving the room to someone. And they were totally fine with it, and for them, it's part of their customer service, and I'm definitely going back to that hotel again, right? So it's a win-win for everybody.
And you gave them the opportunity to have really good customer service.
Right.
You gave them that opportunity.
Those strawberries were so good.
Yeah, it'll make them feel good too, right? To be able to do that for you.
I took pictures on it, posted on Facebook.
Sweet. That's amazing. So this is a really good segue into what we were talking about before about being full of yourself. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people think that you're not supposed to be full of yourself. You're not supposed to be the shining star. You are supposed to just
fit in.
Yes. Be humble. That's what good girls do. But we're here to tell you that is not what good girls do. If you want to get anywhere in life, if you want to feel happy all the time, be that shining star. It's okay.
It's okay to ask for chocolates on your pillow.
Ask for what you want.
And not to feel... I was telling Jena, one of my worries in my life has always been that I'm too arrogant, right? That's something that's this word that flies around in my family about me. And maybe it's because I was smart growing up, or maybe it's because I was, who knows? But they would say that. And so I had this constant thing of like, I have to be humble to compensate for people thinking I'm arrogant. But Jena asked me, she's like, well, does it feel good? And it doesn't. To be humble the way that I think I'm supposed to be humble, right? if I've done a good job at something and somebody compliments me on it, I want to say thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, oh, it's no big deal, and it's a team effort. No, I did a lot of freaking hard work. Thanks for noticing. Thanks for acknowledging. Right?
Yes.
Like when I wrote my book and people are like, this is an amazing book, I'm like, oh, just inspired. And inside I'm like, I know it's good.
That's why I published
That's
it.
why you're reading. That's why you bought it, people. And it's not to say like I'm better or worse than anybody else, because I recognize everybody has a talent. Everybody has a gift, right? Not everybody's living their gift, which is their choice. But if I'm actually stepping into it, what if I own that? What if I actually said, oh yeah, I am pretty great.
Yeah.
Right? And just because I'm great doesn't mean anybody else has to be less great, but I'm good and I'm great.
And what you said is really important. When you've done something that you're proud of, when you feel like you look good and you feel good and you're nice to people and everything, that's alignment, right? When you're doing something that you're proud of and when you feel like you're living your purpose, that is alignment. That is when more good things come to you. Keep doing that good work and appreciating it about yourself, because the more you appreciate it about yourself, the more joy that you take from it, the more stuff you're going to get just like that, the more experiences you're going to have.
Right. And you can do things in your own way. So I was talking to a friend of mine who's talking about soccer and hockey and like all these sports. And I said to her, I said, look, I am not interested in sports unless I'm in box seats. I'm getting like, you know, some sort of food.
Yeah.
And there's an event around it.
Yeah.
She moment, then I'll watch the sport, right? Or I'll like observe it in the background. And I just said that to her a week ago. So like I come home from this trip from Toronto, and I was telling this woman in Toronto, come home and my husband's like, I have box seat tickets to the Whitecaps game.
That is awesome.
I know.
Manifesting.
Totally like that. And
that
so
cool.
Like within 3 days. And so we went on Sunday with our kids to like box seats for soccer, and I actually really enjoyed the game.
Wow, because you had your box seats.
Because I had my box seats, I had my food, my gourmet,
and
like the fancy
family was happy because she was happy.
Everybody was happy. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It was such a great experience, and so it's okay. Like I'm learning to know that it's okay for me not to buy nosebleed seats. It's okay for me to say I'm only going to do this if it's in a way that's going to make me happy and feel good.
And here's what you did. You asked for what you wanted with very little resistance, because you probably had, like when we ask for $1 million, there's a lot of resistance there. There's a lot of, beliefs that we have about what it takes to make money and if we deserve money and, all that stuff. But when you ask for something like you're not interested in sports, when you're like, oh, I would go if there were box seats, you're asking for that with very little resistance. And so you're in that receptive mode. You're willing for it to come to you because you don't have any beliefs about it.
No.
Right? You're just like, oh, box seats, fine. 3 days later, you got your box seats. Like, that's manifesting. So you can do that in your own life, too. You can ask for something that you have no resistance towards.
And
like,
he won these tickets.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He didn't go and buy them. He
Exactly.
somebody he found them. He won them.
Yeah. Just like my Uggs.
Yeah,
I didn't win them. Someone bought them for me. But I said I wanted purple Uggs. And like a week later, 2 weeks later, I got purple Uggs.
Right.
It's just, you just ask for it.
And the point is, and the principle is that there's no difference in degree. So whether it's purple Uggs, whether it's box seats, whether it's $100,000, it doesn't matter. Any of those things could be yours when you just continue in that space of feeling good, and any resistance that you feel coming up, you just like push it aside, move it aside, let it go.
Yeah, and anytime you do feel that resistance, in order to push it aside, you can remind yourself that it's not your business how it's going to happen.
Right.
That is not your business. That's not your concern. Because somehow the sun rises every morning, right?
We don't think about how.
You don't think about how.
Somehow your heart is beating right now. Are you thinking about it?
You're not regulating it yourself.
Now you're thinking about it because you mentioned it, right? But it's not something that your lungs are breathing, your heart is beating, these things are happening, you're listening, your ears, like all of this stuff is happening and you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, and you didn't do any of that stuff. That stuff is done for you. And life is done for you. So when you take yourself out of the driver's seat and when you can just say, okay, I don't need to worry about the how. All I need to do is ask for what I want and clear up my beliefs about it. If you have any kind of negative feelings towards it, then push that thought aside and ask for something a little bit less, right? Like ask for something that you have no resistance towards. Right. A new book or whatever you think that you can actually get. Start building that muscle, that manifesting muscle.
And a really great way, again, when you're feeling we call it feeling the contrast, where you're feeling those darker feelings, is to shift to something that's happening right now in your life that you're absolutely appreciative of. Yeah. That you're so grateful for. Because what that does is it changes your mind from what's missing to what's actually already here and pretty damn good. Right? And then that starts changing to the next better feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't have a partner yet or something, or, I'm really looking for love and I don't know why it's not coming, you can start to think about all the things you do have. You have an amazing group of friends, right? Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome. A lot of people don't have that. You have that group of friends. You have family that loves you. Mm-hmm. There's some people that have no family, right? Mm-hmm. You actually put yourself in this position. Maybe you have a great career. You have manifested so many things in your life, but as soon as they're manifested, we tend to forget them, right? We're like, oh, like when I was in an unhappy relationship, all I wanted was a happy relationship. That's all I wanted. Now I have a happy relationship, and I'm not thinking about the fact that I have it. I'm thinking about what do I want next? What do I want next, right? But to get yourself in that space, you can really remember all the stuff that you've already manifested without even realizing it. So imagine if you started to realize and deliberately manifest, what could you have? You're unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then sometimes, so one of the worries I used to have is like, well, if I just always do what feels good, I'm going to end up like in a worse situation. Like sometimes I'm going to end up like I'm going to do things that are bad for me in the long run.
Like I'm going to just watch TV all day long.
Yeah.
And I'm going to...
Something. Yeah. It's like I'm going to do these things that are actually not making me feel good, but just like that instant gratification. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, when you feel good because you feel good, you know what that's like. And when you feel good because you're avoiding your life and you're just escaping, mm-hmm. you know what that feels like. And they're different feelings.
They're totally different.
When you feel good because you're like talking to friends and everybody's laughing and you're all just in that moment, that feels very different than like watching 6 hours of Netflix.
Yeah.
With your eyes like this.
Yeah.
And I've done it. Do you see these eyes? This is what they look like.
They've seen things.
But I know, and at the beginning of that binge, I'm like, oh yeah, I got my popcorn, I'm gonna eat. And then at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I feel like crap, right? So I know that that's not actually what's gonna make me feel good.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay to do that too.
Yeah. The difference is what you're telling yourself about it, right? So if you're saying nice things to yourself and you're really building yourself up from the inside, that is the feeling good that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. That is where, when you have that ability to talk yourself into that good feeling, you have it all. Right. Because then it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You can feel good anytime, anywhere, anyhow. Doesn't matter.
So I'll give an example of a nap. Okay? So I used to feel so guilty about napping. Mm-hmm. Because I think like, oh, you're not supposed to nap as a grown-up. Something's wrong with you. Maybe you have a sleep problem. Yeah. Something wrong with your health. What's going on? Right? And now, when I have a nap, I'm like, oh, my body's just needing the rest. Maybe I'm avoiding illness. And I have this like incredibly strong immune system. Like I barely get sick. Yeah. And I think it's because I nap.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself.
Yeah.
Now, instead of like, oh, I shouldn't do this.
And speaking specifically about naps, Abraham actually says that whenever you're feeling down or like you're in a period of contrast and you just like you don't know how to get yourself aligned, take a nap. Because while you're sleeping, you are just taking a step back. Like you're not focused so much on everything that's going wrong in your life. You're like taking a step back and your mind naturally realigns itself. Mm-hmm. So take a nap. Please take a nap. And when you wake up, eat some chocolate. For God's sake. Do whatever makes you feel good. And just keep doing that. Like keep doing what makes you feel good. And you'll notice that over time, the better you feel, the more stuff you're going to want to do. Mm-hmm. You're going to suddenly want to go to the gym. Like maybe there's a class that's been calling your name. And you really want to go.
It's so hard to explain. It's happening to me, Jena.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like Zumba, and I'm doing like strength training, I'm doing weights, like all this stuff. And I can't, if a year ago you had said to me, in a year, you will be actively an active member of your gym that like knows the staff and like is there 3 to 4 times a week, I'd be like, do I look like someone who goes to the gym? Like I always used to say, do I look like someone who goes to the gym? Now I'm like, oh, yeah, I am that person.
You are that person.
Right?
Yeah, and it happened very naturally.
Yeah. It was like all one thing that felt good. Like I went to one class that felt good. Then I tried something else and that felt good. Then I tried something else that didn't feel good. So I didn't do that ever again. But I tried something else a little bit different. And then that felt good. And then, right?
And the contrast is so important. Because when you do something that actually doesn't feel good, we sometimes tend to think, oh, that was a wrong move. That was a mistake. There are no mistakes. Because what happens is then you realize what it is that you do want. Mm-hmm. It's only by seeing what you don't want that you can realize what you do want. And when you know what you do want, it's there waiting for you. And you don't actually have to do anything to get it. You just have to take a step back, feel good, and see what happens. Crazy.
So
freaking crazy. I know.
And the choice that you have is how long you want to stay in any given feeling.
Yeah. That is totally your choice.
So I had this event. In my mind, it was an event. In reality, it was a text message. Doesn't that happen to you? Like, somebody just sends you a text and like, your whole day is like, wah! Over like a text message. I had a text message, and it like threw me in a tizzy, right? And it was like, I really didn't need to be so worked up about it, but I knew that, okay, there's a reason, like, I'm really angry about this, and I'm not sure why I'm so angry about this. And then shortly after that text message I had this, like, very strange experience of a healing, like a distance healing, like something new that I was trying. It was really cool, and it was really neat to see how that text message made me angry enough to actually have the conversation that I need to happen to release, like, this old story about my past.
Wow.
It had nothing to do with the text message. It was just a trigger to, like, release an old, entire way of thinking around, like, shame. So, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so weird. But this guy talked about, like, how I have this, like, heart wall. This, like, cover over my heart. Or I used to, I guess. And that it was built there over certain events that happened in my life. It was like this awakened heart thing I was telling you about, this new thing I'm testing out. And he, like, released the heart wall, apparently. I don't know, I feel the same. But the process was really cool because he identified a few key words, those contrast words, like shame. That's the one I remember. There's a couple of other words of, like, these feelings that just, to me, felt so, like, feelings that I could not change about myself. I would feel like I went into a crystal store. Yeah, well, it's like a whole body feeling. So, like, 6 months ago, I went into a crystal store, and a crystal fell off the shelf and broke. And
were you anywhere near it?
I was kind of near it. I don't know, maybe I did it, maybe somebody else did it, but it fell. And I just felt this huge wave of shame. I know! What? So weird, right? Like, I just felt so ashamed. Like, my face was burning. Like, I felt like a little child that's broken something in a store and is going to get scolded. That's how I felt. Aww. Just from some little thing like that. And so shame has been this thing that's been around, and I don't know where it comes from, and I don't really care. But I needed it to be over. Because I don't want to carry that, right? And, like, some little thing like that throws me into one little text message throws me into a tizzy. Like, I don't want that. Yeah. And so...
You want that control over your own reactions. Well, you want to feel good no matter what's going on.
I want to feel good, right? Yeah. And for me, it's not even control because I think emotions are okay, but it's just what you do with them. So when you feel that feeling of shame, do you then, like, go small and, like, go hide or, like, beat yourself up? Or do you be like, oh, okay, something's happening. Something's happening. Just observing what's happening and let it change. And I wasn't able to do that in the crystal store, but in that little session with this guy, I totally was able to just, like, experience that shame again and be like, oh, this is not really a useful emotion anymore. Right? Yeah. So once, maybe when I was a kid, I broke a glass and I felt ashamed. Okay, but it's over. It's like almost 30 years ago. Like, why? Yeah. And I think so many of us carry these old things that have nothing to do with today, and it's, like, there, and so I just, like...
But we carry them until we have the intention to change them, right? Because a lot of us think that's just who we are, right? That's the excuse that we give to not have to take control of our lives. That's just who we are, and that's the experiences that we've had, and there's nothing we can do about it. But there's everything you can do about it. Like, you are the only person that can change that. So when you have that intention to get rid of that feeling and to not ever feel like that again because you don't like the way it feels and you want to choose a different feeling, then things like that happen that allow you to release it. Yeah. Because basically what you did is you asked for that to be released, right? You asked to get rid of it, right? And then you did,
and I did, and it feels like I feel so relaxed since then.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I think a lot of things I was doing in my life were to avoid feeling shame. Yeah, but that's not how I want to be motivated.
No, now you're being motivated by freedom, by joy, right?
Right.
Yeah, and those are the things that you're working towards. And it's a very different feeling to do something because you think it's going to give you freedom and joy than to do it to avoid a negative feeling.
Right.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I'm so happy for you.
I know, my heart wall is gone, apparently. I have no heart wall. So come on in into my heart.
Doors open. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll tell you more about this heart wall stuff as I learn about it. I'm going to a workshop this weekend, so we'll see what it's all about.
Very cool. Yeah, I want to learn all about it.
Okay. It's all, like, energy stuff, so we'll keep you posted.
Yeah. And the other thing that you did in that situation is you didn't worry about how, right?
Right.
And that's really the main focus of today's episode is not worrying about how. Right. And just figuring out what is it that I want and knowing that just because you want it and because you're feeling good, it's going to come to you. And it's going to come in the most random way that you would never be able to predict or act yourself.
Right. And then looking back, you can connect the dots. Like looking back, you can say, okay, 6 months ago I broke the crystal. Then there was this text message. Then there was this healing. And that was my release of shame.
Yes.
But at the time when I broke the crystal, I was like, oh! Yeah. Right? Like I had no way of because you can't see the future.
No.
But you can actually start developing a future if you're in that happy space.
Yeah, and you'll never be able to act your way into happiness. Like, I mean, not into happiness.
Blooper reel, delete. But happiness too, right?
You'll never be able to act your way into anything. All you can do is feel your way into it, right?
Say that again.
You'll never be able to act your way into anything. You can only feel your way into it.
So that's very different than the way we've been trained.
Oh my God.
Because
like
our entire culture trains us to do, and then you'll feel better.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a lie.
It's a total lie.
You can see it. You can see it in the crisis of mental health in Western countries, right? It's like we're doing so much and we're achieving so much and we're successful and we're educated and people are miserable.
Crazy, yeah.
Like miserable.
Yeah.
Right?
And you can see it in those people that seem to have it all. Those people that are rich and successful and beautiful. Angelina Jolie's of the world or whoever, right?
Yeah.
The people that just seem to have it all. They seem to have it all because they expect it all and they know what they want and that's it.
And they're keeping in that space of joy and connection and happiness rather than like competition or self-attack or those other things that we do.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts. That was good.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it.
We did. As you can see. Please keep in touch. Subscribe, like, share this video if you think that it'll help someone that you know or love. And get in touch with us. We love to chat. Email us if you'd like. We have her website is talktosaira.com. Mine is jenamarcy.com. We talk about this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and we love it. And we also have a Facebook Live that we do sometimes. So check our Facebook pages and you'll find us there.
Yeah.
And send us topics. So if there's something that you have a question about around the law of attraction, specifically manifesting, or other things as well that you think you might know about, let us know and we'll ask you questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.
Today's your day.
Bye.